Lyme disease has doubled since 1991 when the CDC started tracking it, and in Pennsylvania, with the latest statistics, we are the #1 state for Lyme disease. It's a disease that just wipes people out. But even with something like Lyme disease, God has got a plan, and our guest, Corey Shipley, knows full well what God can do. Corey, glad to have you on the program. Now, how did you contract Lyme disease?
Honestly, I don't know for sure, and it's kind of a guess as to how long I might have actually had it too. Looking back,
what were your symptoms? What kind of symptoms did you have?
Chronic pain, joint pain, fatigue, a lot of weird stuff, especially for my age. When I was growing up, I had friends that were, normal, healthy teenagers or whatnot, or kids, and running around, and nobody seemed to have the problems that I was dealing with. And whenever I got older, I just knew.
Was it kind of stuff where you were feeling like an old man, even at your young age?
Very old, very old. I looked normal, but I did not feel normal.
What type of thing were doctors able to do for you?
Well, at first they pretty much told me it was like throwing darts at a dartboard in the dark. They just started handing me medications, antibiotics, just to see what would work. It was strictly based on, what I would tell them the following time I would come in, and they'd ask me, how you doing? You feel any better? Because apparently whenever you start to take some medicines that start to kill the Lyme, you get a reaction called a Hertz reaction. And it actually makes you feel a little sicker, but then you'll start to feel better.
Well, you must have been one of the ones that was diagnosed earliest, having it as long as you did. Did you feel like the doctors were okay? They're doing the best they can, but there's got to be something more.
No, actually, I was not diagnosed early. I probably had it for a long time and didn't know it. Probably maybe even whenever I was a little kid and didn't know it. And then whenever I got older, I started realizing that something just wasn't right, and I was kind of in pursuit of. And then I got married, and my wife was a nurse practitioner, and she had a nursing instructor who had Lyme disease and suffered from it. And my wife's sister also suffers from epilepsy, and she's always been in search of answers for her, and now she was in search of answers for me. And through her nursing instructor and the information that they would get from talking, she thought, well, we're going to go get them tested. They got us both tested, and we both tested positive.
So, but what happened since then?
Since then, I took antibiotics for about a year solid. I mean, literally could have filled up a garbage bag full of antibiotics. Most people take medicines and they hear, milligrams, 1,000 milligrams, 2,000 milligrams. I was taking 6-7 grams a day.
Wow.
And then, through that time period, one medicine that they didn't want to give me helped me just a little bit. It took some of the joint pain away. And after that, it was just more medicine, more medicine, more medicine. Finally, I just said enough. I started feeling like the medicines were affecting me in ways that I would rather not deal with. So I stepped away from that treatment, and I went about a year, a little longer, without any treatment at all. And the whole time, I just knew God was going to do something. I knew.
Well, you kept getting prayer.
Kept getting prayer, and kept seeking, looking for answers. And eventually, I decided, well, enough's enough. My symptoms are getting, bad again. We need to start looking for a new doctor. At the time, there were only 3 doctors in PA that were treating Lyme disease. And one of them wouldn't take me, and the other one I had already gone to and said no more. And then we found this one doctor finally, and went through, and he, very good, wanted to take all the tests over again, start fresh, not go off of any of my old diagnosis, but he had all that information. And at the same time, we started going to a new church. And you're the pastor there, and you were praying for us.
No plugs here, no plugs here. Just
you were telling me, the work's been done. You need to just have faith. And I kept having faith. I knew God wanted to do something, and went through all the tests. And during that time period, I got sick, like flu type symptoms.
Oh, great! I gave you good advice.
I was out. I was down for like 2 or 3 days. Didn't go to work, and you know, when you're sick, you sleep a lot. You're out of it. But then whenever it went away, I noticed I was continuing to sleep, which hadn't happened in 9+ years, and started feeling a little better. I'm thinking, oh, what's going on? But I didn't say anything about it. So I went for my testing at the doctor, and he had done all the same testing over again, and he's looking at one chart and looking at the other, and looking at one chart, looking at the other, and looks at me, and he said, your body, he goes, I wish I could take credit for this. He goes, but your body's reacting as if you've never even been exposed to this disease.
What?
And
As if you've never been exposed?
Never been exposed. And I was like, so you're saying what's that mean? What does that mean? And he's like, you know, he goes, you're cured. He goes, if you had it, he goes, you're cured. He goes, I like I said, I wish I could take credit for this. He said, but he goes,
So
I can't.
all the symptoms, all the things on the chart, everything that was registering saying Corey Shipley has Lyme disease, with these new testing, it was saying there's nothing there.
No, my protein levels were completely normal. All the testing came back. All the rheumatoid arthritis testing came back negative. Everything came back negative.
Amen.
And the only
God.
significant difference was that during that time period, I had gotten sick and noticed that everything had just went away.
So today you're walking around and you know you're Lyme free.
Yes. Yes, I am.
God has done a miracle.
Absolutely.
Corey, there are a number of folks